Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Collected Works Bookstore. Welcome back to Collected Works Bookstore. Welcome back to Collected Works Bookstore. And for some of you that are in the very rear of the store, first of all, hope you can hear me. Secondly, you're in for a grand evening. We may have one or two free chairs up front once we get yes, we have chairs here, and there are a couple here in the second row. So if you're in the way back and want to sit up front, close and personal, like the rest of us do, come on up and take a chair. It is a great honor for Collected Works to launch this remarkable book by one of my great personal friends, a store supporter for the 30 years that I have been privileged to be the complaint department in this 45-year-old store. So I welcome Joan back, and I welcome her extended family back, and I welcome all of you who are tuning in on Zoom. We have had Zoom members tuning in for our events from South America, Asia, Canada. I hope Canada is still talking to us. And all they turned it off, Michael. Okay. Michael says Canada is no longer tuning into us, but we will have this available not only for the Logghe family, but for everybody else who are fans of Joan's and her remarkable work. I'd like to start by just saying that in addition to where Joan lives, Joan and Michael live, Collected Works Bookstore is situate on unceded Tewa territory. And we are mindful of that fact. We are mindful of the fact that in this land of ours, we are only here for a very fraction of a time, and we are grateful to be here to spend that time with you. I want to thank Charly Drobeck for the flute music, and Charly, hope that you'll play again on the way out. I didn't get to that with you earlier, but it was a lovely, lovely introduction. Thank you very much. I want to, first of all, tell you that this book, Birthed in Grief, speaks to the resilience and the remarkable energy of recovery that the Logghe family shares with all of us. I noticed during COVID that artists, whether they were pictorial artists, sculptors, dancers, authors, poets, very often turn to their own medium of expression. And Joan has turned and led her family to the consolation necessary in the tragedy of an infant death to pour out the energy to share this remarkable book. I hope that it brings the Logghe family the same amount of encouragement, optimism, and determination that it did to me as one of its humble readers. Joan Logghe will be signing here. She's going to be joined by daughters. She's going to be joined by grandchildren. She's going to be joined by Michael. She's going to be joined by anybody who would like to come up and say hello to her. We have the honor system here at Collected Works, as most of you know. So do come up, get your book signed. I will be standing in your face, asking you how you spell your name, because books are precious. This book is remarkably precious. And we have, over the years, that Cecile Lipworth, our invaluable events producer, and I have been doing these events. We have had 17 different Susies show up for inscriptions, and they've all spelled their names differently. So please bear with me while I ask you that. And then my colleague and good friend of Joan Logghe, Joe Fisher, is up front, and we'd be delighted to get your money on your way out. So come first, get your book signed, and then on the way out, don't forget to pay us. Joan,
Okay.
Poet Laureate, Santa Fe. Introducing Joan Logghe to a literary audience is a little bit like introducing, who's this Taylor? I don't, Taylor Swift to a pop audience. Everybody knows her. Everybody loves her. She did more imaginative work for the children of Santa Fe when she was our poet laureate than anyone before, during, or after. And if you'd like to challenge me on that, I'll see you in the parking lot after the event is over. Joan and her giant pencil were a legend around town. And it wasn't just the 6-foot pencil she lugged everywhere with her. It was the inspiration that she gave to her students. It was the inspiration she gave to her audiences, the poets. Many of her colleagues are here tonight, and I welcome all poets here tonight. And it was the inspiration that she gave through her books. This is a particularly unique and wonderful book. I am so proud. Welcome, welcome to Joan Logghe. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
My mother would be so proud and would love Dorothy. So I have a very interesting and gravelly voice today. 2 days ago, I had zero voice. I said many prayers and drank a lot of tea and sucked a lot of lozenges, but I'm here to be with you. I just want to say a few words of the origin story of this book. We have on our land, we have a fire pit, which is underground. And we sat in the fire pit this particular day, and we have, instead of a talking stick, we have a wooden fish, and we pass the fish around. And whoever has the fish gets to talk, and everybody else gets to listen, which is always fun for people that don't like to listen usually. So one day we went down into the pit, and I just, out of the blue, I said, Jade Bird should have a book. Now, I know that saying somebody should have a book is like a year of work right there, you know, and I thought it's never going to happen, but I could say it anyhow. In the meantime, I have been, because of the grief that I was still in, I have been drawing. You have to buy them to see them. They're invisible ink. I started drawing this corn, and I have, I think, 30 pictures of corn in this book. Some of them, they're all, I know you can't see them. They're all originally that big. So I started with the corn, and then this is the first writing that I did for Jade Bird. Prologue. I couldn't handle it, and yet I did. We all did, living beyond the edge of our comfort zone. Who, I ask you, on our green earth, wants to read about a baby put on life support, just technology away from a stillbirth? Nobody. And yet those 4 days were some of the most alive I felt, living in mystery. A year after Jade's birth and death, I found myself making painting after painting of corn and remembering the harsh times, the ones I didn't want, yet didn't want to forget. The image of her being dressed in a t-shirt I decorated with a heart, and her mother, my daughter Hope, bonding with her, as animals have been seen to bond with their deceased offspring. Jade lying in state, decked with gerbera daisies and miniature corn, a devastating beauty. In those holy, ecstatic days, we greeted people and explained the corn was from New Mexico. Postpartum Hope standing up, leaking milk, and explaining the corn to the rabbi, the improvised yet grounded ceremony. Hope and Leland got her out of the hospital in a Moses basket through the back door. They wanted a wake and time with their baby, braving the hospital's common practices. At her cremation, we sang and danced, kept moving our bodies. Is there a word for this post-death state beyond grief? Grief to me felt like an invisible machine, an engine that grinds up sadness. You can't rush it. It must move its own gears, the clock of loss. Our family and friends took a vow to run the rapids of loss with us, sing the songs we knew. One bright morning when this life is over, I'll fly away. We were not okay, but we tapped into a larger than life heart space. The shocked parents, grandparents, friends, and family, midwives too, joined us there. A year later, I was still drawing and painting corn. It was relaxing. I was crying from such a deep place, ancestral sorrow. It took a long time and was interwoven with the COVID-19 pandemic, but meds, walking, and friendship helped raise me up. I once was lost, but now I'm found. When the poetess Gallagher lost her husband, the writer Raymond Carver, she visited his grave daily, and people didn't approve when it went on and on. I heard her speak of honoring your own ecology of grief, even when others disapprove and say, get over it already. And here I respect our particular invented ecology, a landscape with love, rain, burial, and corn. My son-in-law, Leland Guthrie, will be the next reader. This is all experimental, but it's going to work.
That's good, thanks. Hey, everybody, thank you all for being here. Just checking in with myself before coming up here, I'm just realizing that there's a lot of anxiety here in my chest. And I was just thinking, this is like kind of like sharing the deepest part of your heart or your soul and just sort of like opening it up to everybody and just putting it in a way on display for people to point at or look at. And and it's also an honor. It's an honor to be able to have had Jade come into our lives, number one, and to teach us all that she's taught us. It's been an honor to walk side by side with my mother-in-law, Joan Logghe, here, as she created beauty through her words, as she navigated her process of grief, and then inspired us to go ahead and put the story of what we went through together into book form and essentially share it out with the whole world, whoever gets a hold of it. So thank you. Thank you, Joni.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you, love you. The depth of wisdom and courage that you carry in your heart, Joan, just keeps flowering forth the more time that you are on this earth. So it's an honor to see and bear witness to. Also want to just give thank yous. Probably a lot of you here in this audience helped us through this time and were with us. And so just really want to take this opportunity to extend gratitude to all of you. You know who you are, not just at that time, but, all the years since. It's like going on almost 10 now, I think. My wife, Hope, and I, it felt important to us. We were talking about what we might say, that we wanted people to know that we're past the point of needing condolences or, sorry this happened to you or anything like that. So, this reading or what we're sharing now really isn't about that at all. It's really about an opportunity. And this is kind of the way we see the book too, to be able to share the way we went. Share our process. There's everybody as they navigate their own griefs, and we all have them. We all are carrying heavy grief in our heart. And if you're not yet, life will hand it to you in time, in due time. And everybody has their own way of navigating grief and the things that we hold inside that are hard and challenging. And every way of going about doing that is good, exactly how everyone does it. But this book is kind of about the story of the way that we did it. And, you know, it's not a recipe for how to do it. It's just one example of a unique way. And this way, this unique way for me was really informed when I was, I think middle school, late middle school, early high school. My dad gave me a book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. And it was a really important book for me. And the thing that I've always carried away in my heart and kind of how I live in the world is this idea of having a personal legend. You know, it's kind of this idea in the story, the protagonist sort of follows, you're sort of following the way he's like moving through his life, paying attention to dreams, to omens, to synchronicities, to coincidences, listening to mentors, listening to teachers. It's almost like, I think about it like tracking. You know, you're tracking a critter or an animal, you like one, you know, you're seeing one track and then you're looking all around. Maybe there's another track, or maybe it's like a broken branch, or maybe it's an intuition that you're feeling deep inside, and you make your way kind of following along. And so that's the way that I've sort of attempted to live my life. And I feel like the piece of myself that lives in this book is kind of like an example of that, arriving in this completely out of nowhere experience of grief and trying to bring that way of encountering the world and encountering our lives, this idea of the personal legend or family legend, into that space. So these dreams that I decided to put in here, again, they're just like about as vulnerable as it gets. But this first dream, you know, I had this dream a few months before Jade was even born. And you know, you'll hear in the dream, if you haven't already read it, that it's pretty clear that there's a lot of grief in the dream. But at that time, we had no idea what was coming down the line for us. And really, in a way, even though Hope and I think felt it at the time, we kind of just held it over here. That particular grief piece of it, you know, her name also came in this dream, and that we kind of, you know, engaged with in a positive way. But, you know, when you get a sense of something really big and really tragic coming down the line, there's really not much you can do in order to prepare yourself for that. And we really, in a way, couldn't even let the idea or the possibility in, and we didn't. And yet, as soon as Jade was born and it became clear in the next few days that she wasn't going to live, well, actually, truly, like within the first hour or two of when she was born, this dream came back to me full force. And I realized in that moment that what the dream was actually about. All right. So there's two dreams here. The first one I just told you about, and then the second one came after Jade was born and died. Our baby Jade was born full term without a heartbeat on April 1st, 2016. The tragedy took us completely by surprise. She was revived and kept on life support, but when we understood she could never survive on her own, we released her back into the mystery 4 days later. Our hearts were completely broken. With the help of our families and friends, we pieced together a raft of songs, poems, stories, dreams, and communal rituals to help us navigate the rough waters. Grief and beauty flowed together. We stayed attuned to synchronicities which confirmed our course or offered new orientations. At the center of our story is corn, Zia maize. The corn chose us, and we chose the corn. The following dreams made this clear. On January 7th, 2016, several months before Jade's birth, I had a dream. I was barely keeping up with the white-haired elder ahead of me, who was scaling the steep New Mexican mesa like a mountain goat. At the top edge of the mesa, we passed through a rock arch and found ourselves in an ancient Chacoan-style ruin. Remnants of old-growth vigas jutted out from glistening slate-black stone walls. The elder beckoned me over to the far wall and lifted up a translucent cream-colored stone door. Behind the door was a nicho, or small hole in the wall, which contained a sculpture made of the same stone. It had the face of a child and the body of an ear of corn. I beheld the beauty and sacredness of the corn child and immediately dropped to my knees, weeping, praying, and offering cornmeal from the leather pouch at my neck. The strap on the pouch immediately broke, and I realized the whole pouch needed to be gifted. The whole pouch. As I wept, and prayed, a hummingbird flew around the back of my head and began to drink the tears falling down the left side of my face. Awakening from the dream, I heard a voice say, "Your baby is a girl, and her name is Jade." A week later, the ultrasound confirmed she was indeed a girl. It was then that my wife agreed that her name must be Jade. So that's the first dream. And the second one, like I said, came, well, I guess I say it right here. The counterpoint to this dream came several months after burying Jade's ashes in the ground of my wife's childhood home in La Puebla, New Mexico. In this dream, I was standing before a crowd of corn elders whose bodies were upright cobs of creamy yellow-white corn. Their ancient wrinkled faces emerged from within the pattern of the kernels. Their dense congregation parted, and a taller figure emerged with arms and legs made of red corn cobs. This enigmatic corn person walked slowly in our direction, and a woman in front of me fell to her knees and began praying fervently. As the being approached, I felt the power of its presence growing stronger until it became so overwhelming that I woke up. An hour later, I left the house for a morning run to move the energy through my body and try to make sense of the dream. As I followed the trail through the woods, the dream images came flooding back into my mind, and I was again overwhelmed with the potency of the presence of the corn elders. Weeping, I sank down onto the wooden bench where I always stopped in the mornings to pray. From somewhere deep in my psyche and beyond, I heard a voice say, "We gave you our daughter. What are you going to do now?" I understood this to be a call to honor the gifts that Jade's life and death had bestowed upon our family and our community. By the time Jade, that's the end of the dream. By the time Jade came to us, I had been growing corn in my backyard garden for many years. My maternal grandfather spent his entire life after returning from World War II coaxing corn from the rolling green hills of central Iowa, and he wasn't the first. I belong to a lineage of corn farmers going back 5 generations. These corn dreams, along with those of my wife, Hope, wove the history and mystery of the corn into the unfolding story of our daughter, Jade. Though her time on this earth was brief, her life and death continue to reverberate in the hearts and minds of many. When I plant and tend to my corn each year, I tend to Jade and the corn elders, as well as my own blood ancestors. In turn, my family and I are pollinated by all the wisdom their combined legacy carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming. And for those of you out in the ethers listening, thank you for being here with us as well. I think all along the way, I'm Hope, by the way, I'm Joan's daughter. And all along the way with this journey, it's been super clear to us that the only way we would survive this time is by just saying yes to help, saying yes to friends who show up and have something to offer, saying yes to ideas the community had to support us. We just couldn't do it on our own. So we just said yes to many offers of support and help. And when this book came along, we said yes because it was happening. And it just felt like the right timing to support the birth of this book and such an honoring of our daughter, who has just continued to amaze us in the ways that she's moved us and moved our community and just danced with us in all kinds of ways. And so as the years have gone on with this story, I feel like the yeses have come more in the form of when a friend is having a hard time, saying yes to a grief circle for them. Or this week I sat with a mother who had a loss this week and listened to her story and offered my heart to her. And I feel like Jade is such a teacher in that she's helped us, like helped Leland and I to really, support others and feel a little more comfortable with this thing that is so foreign and so hard to imagine. And now that we've walked through it, maybe we can offer our hearts and feel a little more comfortable just with presence with folks. So this is a piece from the book that explains a little bit of the story from my perspective. I'm the mother. I carried our little Jade Bird for 9 full months in my womb. I had images of my 2 little daughters playing together, 3 years apart they would be, and imagined them running around in dresses, picking springtime flowers through Frick Park. Right up the hill from where we were renting a home in Squirrel Hill, the place my great-grandmother Sophia lived long ago. That's in Pittsburgh. The trees were full of blossoms as we headed to the birth center on April Fool's Day of 2016. Leland and I took our sweet time and savored these moments with just the 2 of us, listening to music, and I gripped the oh shit handle through each contraction and breathed. We wandered into the birth center, calm and cool. But then things took that too sharp and too fast life turn that none of us ever expect. We surprised the bereavement coordinators with our desire to keep our baby with us and bring her home. They labeled us Amish in the medical system. So they had a framework for a family who brings their loved one's body home. We weren't Amish. We were painfully in love with our baby and still needing some more time to say hello so we could begin to say goodbye. We brought Jade home, swaddled in a blanket, tossed her installed car seat into the trunk so I could hold her in my arms on the way home. I sat next to Kaleia and we drove home past the fruit trees that now were covered in shriveled blossoms due to the snowstorm that had hit during our NICU stay. So much of our story with our daughter Jade was winging it, flying by the seat of our pants, guessing and saying yes anytime we had a question or weren't sure what to do. Yes to offers of help. Yes to our gut feelings. Yes to ideas for how we might navigate the decisions. Our intuition was strong, and we followed the love for our girl, and we said yes whenever anyone asked to help us, because we knew to survive this time, we needed to say yes. You took your last breaths, and then all was quiet. We held your body, heavy and beautiful. Our newborn girl, fly free, fly free, fly free, little bird. We sang you a song to help carry you across to that place of mystery, leaving us behind.
So I'm going to read a poem. There were about 9 people that moved through this from Leland's family and from our family. It was like our team. And we were in a little hospital room at one point, all 9 of us, tiny, like 2 closets. And we were hungry. So I went across the street to get Indian food at a wonderful restaurant in Pittsburgh, where I had been before. And the poem is called After Life Support Life. I came here to write about grief, but propriety censored me. The numbers of griefs are endless. I vow to grieve them all. Love overtook me, jangling her ankle bells. The waiter holding tandoori chicken said, all will be well. The number of griefs are endless. I vow to grieve them all. Across from Children's Hospital, I turned to salt. The man from India House poured water, said, all will be well. I came here to write about sky, but there were pebbles in my shoe. Across from Children's Hospital, I found myself turned to salt. I came here to exercise ghosts. I found myself rattling bones. I came here to write about sky, but there were pebbles in my shoe. I came here with too many books. I came here to write about you. I came here to write about ghosts. I found myself rattling bones. I heard a rattlesnake shake. It was my cell phone breathing for you. I came here with too many books. I came here to read about you. I have stick-tight burrs on my socks. I walk like a penitent Jew. I heard a rattlesnake shake. It was my cell phone breathing for you. I find myself drying out tears, my towel wet with the blues. I have stick-tight burrs on my socks. I walk like a penitent Jew. I wanted to write out the loss. It brought me to holding you. I found myself drying out tears, my towel a deeper blue. Love overtakes me, her ankle bells jangling. I wanted to wring out the loss. My eyes focus only on you. I came here to write about grief. So in that same hospital, the Pittsburgh hospital, we had a little moment that I wrote down with Karina and I trying to get in. And I felt like one of the things that happened with Jade is, you guys are in Santa Fe, you know how there's little miracles that happen. Little miracles happen with Jade. And so I'm going to read you one. It's called Encounter. So this is your story, and it happened. In the parking lot in Children's Hospital, my daughter Karina said, "Mama, I left my ID at the house. They won't let us in." I knew security here was stricter than an airport. They asked for room number, ID, and code name. Birmingham Doe was the code for our dear baby hovering on life support on this April day, the last one of her 4-day life. "Let's see what magic we can work," my eldest said, being close to her sister's pending loss. I knew the woman sitting on the far right was in charge. I said, "Let's go to her." "Ma'am," Karina said, "I left my driver's license at home." The woman already shaking her head, no, and absolutely no. "But they are taking our baby off life support." And the woman, not unkindly, said, "I'm sorry." We resolved to have Karina drive back to the house, which was a good hour round trip with all the traffic on Penn Avenue and the outer world of roads torn up. I'd have to go alone to the 4th floor. I handed the woman my ID for an entry badge that should read "Grandmother" under my name. When she printed out the name badge, it did not have my name, but Corina Logghe, aunt. I held it up for the woman, keeper of the gate, to see, a plea in my eyes. Looking down and shuffling official paper, she said, "This never happened. You didn't see this." We nodded and thanked her. On her arm, as she handed me the badge, a tattoo of birds flying up in blue ink. "Fly free," it said in tattoo cursive. We let the baby go that day. Jade Bird was her little beautiful name. We all said we'd get tattoos, as if that would help. We straddled worlds that day, singing, "Some bright morning when this life is over, I'll fly away." And I encountered loss like nothing I'd ever known, and beauty of my 2 daughters, the mother and the magic one, the revealed beauty of each of them on the April 5th morning in my hometown with its harsh old world mortality on Penn Avenue in Children's Hospital, a place for other people, certainly not for us. Oh, am I reading that right? It says go to 6 and I'm here, burial. Okay, you go next.
I just want to invite everyone to take a couple of really deep breaths. Kind of feeling your body in your chair, staying here with us, grounded. I don't know if everyone knew the content they were arriving for. When folks hear Joan has a new book, they show right up, but I don't know if you knew this was our story in this way. We've talked a lot about trigger warnings and things and along the way, and my response often is for those just is that we didn't have one, and it just feels like along the way we've just had to continue to just trust we'll be okay, even when it has felt kind of hard. So thanks for going on this journey with us here. and holding this with us right now. Just have two poems here. We wrapped you in white silk, held you as you were exhaled across the veil, and my milk dripped onto your forehead. One last attempt at feeding you, and you, my beloved, your breaths have stopped, so quiet and peaceful. But my tears pour as my breasts empty to you. My mother body tries to feed and warm you. I'll do it in my dreams now. I've been watching this beautiful mother here as folks are reading and just thinking about all the tears that we shed for all the losses in our lives and our children, and what medicine those have been for me along the way. And sometimes I felt like folks along the way grieved for me when I couldn't find my tears. And because my husband shared such a personal, sacred dream of his, I'll share one that's really close to my heart that we published. Yeah. In my dream, I was in a gallery and I saw a door. It said, corn. And I walked up to the door and opened it and went in. In this room, the walls were lined with shelves crowded with corn maidens. I was looking at all the beautiful corn maidens. And then on the other side, this piece caught my eye. It was a carved canoe of mother of pearl, opalescent white, filled with 4 different grandmothers holding babies. 2 were holding little babies and 2 were holding corn babies. There were 2 hummingbirds carved into this canoe. The grandmothers had their mouths open like O's and they were singing lullabies. I woke up from that dream and it was Indian market that day, and I rushed into town to the beautiful Zuni area. They were all in the Scottish Rite Temple. And I was looking, I just was like sure I was gonna find what I had just dreamt in that beautiful place.
Did you?
I didn't. I think I have to learn to carve myself.
I'm up.
Yeah.
Burial. The preparations made, a scavenger hunt for death, for beauty. Flowers and jade beads and a golden rain tree chosen by Tia Corina. 100 guests held her, kissed the blanket with the ashes snuggled inside. Big sister Kaleia was 3 in her tutu phase, wearing one at the airport, on the plane, and at the burial ceremony. After the ashes were passed around, wrapped in a Pendleton blanket, Hope and Leland knelt over the grave, and Kaleia behind them put a rose in her dad's back pocket, with a hand on each of her parents' back. Winged child, I dare you to forget this. Afterwards, some people said this was not their cup of tea. Others said they felt it among the most meaningful things in their life. A naked baby doll appeared on the mound, a gift, sister to sister. We'd filed by, placing jade beads and flowers, planting the golden rain tree, which has 4 seasons: leaf, flower, lantern, seed. Even now it grows. Karina. My daughter Karina is going to read next. Tia Karina in the family. See you all.
Dear little big girl, remember when? Remember when I drank so many cups of cardamom pu'er tea with honey and cream that my bones and teeth turned crystalline? We were waiting for you then. And then you came after sushi songs from Kaleia, little blossoms and all the threads of green. You came and my bones took on the tone of spring and of hearts suspended. I walked up and down the halls of that hospital in the yellow hum of lights and machines. I couldn't find you. But you were there with your chubby hands in the hands of all our beloveds, holding us up from all times and all lands, guiding us and leading us down those halls. My bones toned, and we all held you one time. And the tone was you all along, ringing in new notes. My teeth and bones felt colors never seen. And we toned for the mystery, for all the songs, big and little unsung. Remember when I went to Mexico, land of your ancestors, of the corn people? You were everywhere then, hummingbird amidst flowers. You were in Chichen Itza. You built those pyramids with skulls carved in stone. You were the grandmother selling little bright embroidered dresses, the ones I could not bring home to you. You asked for my tears and bleeding heart to bless the temples and the soils where you tread. Tears led to rainstorms, and we ran for cover, huddled with your people in the jungle green. And now, Jade Bird, I remember you were always here and here, everywhere at once, in the sunshine, in the tiny daffodils I planted for you, still emerging every spring, in the first buzz and vibration of the hummingbirds, reminding us it's time to brew sweetness, and tend to the tenacious little ones. In all the songs we played and sang for you, the littlest birds sing the prettiest songs. In the green stones, blossoms, sprouting seed, rain and snow, and whispers in the breezes, the messages from you, reminding us to ache and celebrate and keep emerging in the spiral of these bones, in these bodies of love.
This poem is again an example of one of the little miracles that we had with Jade, called Rainwater. After we mourned, after we buried the ashes of Jade Bird, we tossed in flowers and jade beads. My children leaned over the grave of my grandchild. After we fed 100 people, after one said, "This is not my cup of tea," after others said, "This was one of the most meaningful things." After we had completed some of the grief work, Taz brought us a quart jar of rain. She said, "After the mourning on our Pueblo, we wash in rainwater." This was Hope's last day at home, time to catch a plane. We poured rainwater on our hands, maybe on each other's hands, I don't remember. We sang a little, spoke of the blessings and teachings from Jade Bird, a child that lived 4 days on life support in my home city of Pittsburgh. We'd all been through so much, my daughter, son-in-law, and 3-year-old Kaleia. We stood on this sunny hillside next to the lightning-struck cottonwood tree, the shaman tree, not a cloud in sight, the clear blue of sky. There is no way but to say this. A column of rain, a cylinder, a shaft of rain fell only on us, the mourners, the sacred ones, twice blessed. We felt joy. A hummingbird zoomed by us. We were all buzzing and blessed. Then Hope and her living child got into the car and drove away. Time for that cup of tea. I kept waiting for the old Jewish lady to show up and help. I realized I was already there. I have to show you, part of the miracle is I am not an artist, but I did these things out of just primitive movement. I don't know what. This is such a beautiful painting. And I did it all by myself. And here's another one. I know you can't see them, but that's why you're going to buy the book. So this was going to be the cover of the book. Remember, Julie? This was definitely the cover of the book. We loved it. We thought it was it. But then Kaleia came up with this cover. Oh, it's the wrong cover, that cover. Sorry, with the cover that's on the book. I just want to stop and say a few things. Judith Hill was the book editor, and Judith Hill is kind of our family's fairy godmother. She was at Hope's birth. She introduced Hope and Leland to each other after my son's wedding. She was the editor of this book. What else was she? I hope she's listening. She was the chocolate maven, but not for this book. So I want to thank Judith for the exquisite editing. I learned a lot about editing working with her, and it was so much fun. And her co-collaborator is a woman in Mexico called Mary Mead, who did the book design. And she took all these ones that were this big and made them this big and this big. And so that was great. And we thank Charly, but we can't thank her enough for playing her flute for us. She's my new friend. We met each other at Ghost Ranch, so I want to thank her. And it wouldn't be the right thing if I didn't thank the fabulous Sal Maxwell, my lovely assistant who pulled rabbits out of hats. She got me to do this book, and I kept saying, nobody's going to want to read that. She said, it's going to be beautiful. And then she would go and find something that I needed to put with the book. I mean, Sal makes things happen. So I want to thank her. I can't thank her enough. Did I forget anybody? And Dorothy, what? Oh, I have time. Number 8. Oh. Okay. I'm going to read you a couple of my poems, and then Kaleia will finish us out. Does that sound? We've got you. This one called Blue Corn and Red Wings for my friends Dari and Trisha. I have to just say this one thing. Dari's father was Jonas Salk. I just want to say that. Saved a lot of many lives. And I had it in the poem, but I didn't want to exploit it. But I just have to say that because we know if you're old enough to know who Jonas Salk was, he was very instrumental in the polio vaccine that saved many lives. So Blue Corn and Red Wing for Dari and Trisha. Halfway through the book I'm writing about grief, the blue corn began chirping, sounding like pebbles over pebbles. And my daughter said, Mama, she likes to call me that even now. The birds are devouring the corn. I would have preferred if she'd said devastating of said corn, since that is the word of the grief hour. As it happened, a grade school friend and his wife were here and offered to help as you were napping when the red-winged blackbird struck. Hence, the 3 of us and my daughter sallied forth into the blue corn and harvested the pathetic bird-pecked and blighted ears, only 3 or 4 inches. We must have forgotten to dance for them at planting, or didn't sing the blue corn chant, diminutive as they were. Even so, they glowed with a fresh blue translucence, enough to put us into a corn harvest trance. We picked them all in a hot September hour, so far from a New York minute. Heat mixing up blue corn with childhood friend who had nothing to do with blue corn, but it's hard to separate today from childhood. We shucked the corn, I roasted and ground and made atole, a blue gruel served up with devastating raspberries, maple syrup, half and half, and for a nourishing moment, we were full and happy. It's as if we'll never know grief again. I'm going to read 2 more. This one's called Mantle. It called me and then I called you. And the way you tell it, the doctor has his own story. Bag of sticks sitting by fire. You are called by copal, called by blue corn or jewel corn or Ma'at's corn, labeled Jade's life and death corn on my mantle. I dust the pollen from the ledge. My house is full of shrines to the living and to the dead. The dog Ziggy next to my widowed mother, next to grandchildren, next to a string of birds from India, weighted by a bell. The heart-shaped stones gather over your ashes. Every day I water the golden rain tree. Every day I fill the feeder for hummingbirds. What comfort in the word sweet. The sweet world goes on without you, and yet you are the strongest presence, tiny ghost, illuminated one. It was as if a small female savior appeared. She died to break us, to crack us open, my husband says. He calls her Jade Bird, which I can't. Her name is too beautiful to say. I call her only Jade. Her photo on the mantle, the pollen gone, the flower fades and is replaced. Water's freshened. We cut the stems to draw fresh life. There is a tiny license plate, the kind you see at airports and tourist shops, JADE, a New Mexico plate in turquoise and gold. My daughter bought all the store on the plaza had and gave me one, though I'm not sure I want it. A tiny token, keepsake, memento, metallic love, a license for you to fly away. And this is called 27 Sorrows. Like a Tuvan throat singer, like licorice that turns your mouth black, like a popsicle of dirt, like a love song written by a vulture, like a child articulating a soliloquy, like tremendous relief before the applause, like the devastated spoken in German, like a storm cloud singing opera, like a terrible 2, an awful 9, like the sevens in multiplication, like a sponge wrung out by a therapist, like an irritation that doesn't produce a pearl, like your father swallowing his last oyster, the word oi, a Yiddish punishment in vowels, like a shattered cell phone, like knees everywhere from too much praying or gardening, like the impresario producing the funeral that will sell out, like enough is enough, like just try and get over it already, will you? Like dynamiting the storyline, like 10,000 worries weren't enough, like rattling our human cages, like God heard me say we had been blessed no matter what, like the evil eye wasn't a made-up thing, like the meaning fell out of the story, like buying a meter that measures darkness. I'm going to invite my granddaughter, Kaleia, to come up and read some of her poems. Jade was 3 when Kaleia died, and some of these are dictated and written down. Oh, her sister Crystal was going to come up to give her moral support.
Hi, I'm Kaleia. I'm the artist of the front of the book. And I'm the older sister of Jade. And this is my sister Crystal. She's the younger sister of Jade. And I'm gonna start off with reading something that she wrote when she was a little bit younger. She says, I wish I got to see Jade. Why I didn't was because I was born 2 years after. Having a sister I didn't meet is kind of sad. Now I'm going to read some poems and prayers that I wrote when I was, or when I said, when I was, when I just turned 3. On the other side of the mountain, on the side we can't see, where mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers gather someday on the other side of the mountain. And this next one, who is great? I love you. Jade, you are my sister. Jade, bring back her heart. Bring this rock to your heart as I held a rose quartz on my heart. We can visit you every time. The moonshine. The moon is rising from the mountaintops. The moon is falling down from the trees. The earth is tumbling down and up, and the butterflies are flying up. The birds are singing from the mountaintops around your ears. Your ears are falling from your cheeks. Your sunrise is falling up, and winter sun, and how you great and nearly shore, corn rolls down the path, sprinkle them, and the path is sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, passageway, passageway, and sprinkle the corn seed all along.
Out the west window, white banty rooster, red winged blackbird, our baby's grave. I am a wealthy woman. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Joan, what a wonderful fabric. What
I
a
feel-
wonderful story. And thank you very, very much to bring it to us and to all of your friends, fans, and future fans here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and around the world. To the rest of you that are watching on Zoom, we have many attendees on Zoom. Joan and her family will be at the front table. Please come and visit them. Thank you for coming.
Just want to say really quick that some of the corn that we grew and ground is up here in little envelopes. We wanted to gift it to all of you. Anybody that would like some, feel free to come get some.